Hi guys, it's Jess from Honest Fiction and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be using a spinning wheel to determine my ultimate fantasy romance book boyfriend. Alright guys, so my friend Lizelle tagged me in a video recently where she put a bunch of romance heroes' names in a hat and then she chose two and had to pick between them. So I'm essentially doing the same thing, except I'm using a spinner and all of the guys on my list are from fantasy romance novels. So this will hopefully give you some fantasy romance recommendations as well as challenge me to pick between my favorite fantasy romance book boyfriends. So I am so unbelievably excited. Now if you're unfamiliar with my channel, I post new videos every Wednesday and Sunday. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. You can also hit the notification bell to be notified whenever I post new bookish content. You can also check out my Instagram and Goodreads, both linked down below. With all that out of the way, let's get into the game. 1 second, so before we get into the game, I did want to share that I received this package from novel Wicks, and to my surprise, it was filled with Sarah J. Maas art prints. Now, if you are a fan of fantasy romance, and I assume you are since you're watching this video, you probably love Sarah J. Maas as much as I do, and these prints are absolutely stunning. We have prints from ACOTAR, as well as Crescent City and Throne of Glass, and I am obsessed. So all of these prints will be available for sale on September 1st, so definitely check out Novel Wicks, and don't forget to use code HF10 to save. All right guys, so I have the 20 names on the spinner. I will tell you what book the characters belong to, and then I'm gonna try to pick between them. This should be really fun and really difficult, so let's get started. So first up, we have, hopefully the first one's like a really easy one. Azriel. Okay, so Azriel versus, I'm nervous, Hunt. Okay, so Azriel, for those of you who don't know, is from ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses. He is the Shadow Singer, and he is my absolute favorite Shadow Daddy. And then we have Hunt. Hunt is from Crescent City, and this one is unbelievably easy. I don't like Hunt. I know I'm gonna make so many people angry. I'm very sorry. For some reason, Hunt is just, I don't like him. I just think he's kind of boring. I don't know, he's just kind of comes off as like a bro. I think it's the baseball hat. But yeah, I've never been a huge fan of Hunt Athalar. So Azriel, 100%, because Azriel is like one of my top guys anyway. So that one was a very, very easy round. All right, hopefully the rest of the rounds are this easy. We have Rowan. Okay, so Rowan is from Throne of Glass. Let's see, versus Okay, so this is the first very difficult one. We have Rowan from Throne of Glass versus Castile Denier from Blood and Ash. So for those of you who aren't familiar with my channel, Castile is like one of my absolute favorite book boyfriends. I love the From Blood and Ash series, but I also love Rowan so much. So I don't want to pick between them. Let me know down in the comments who you would pick, because I feel like this is a very hard choice. I think I'm gonna say Castile, only because I have reread the From Blood and Ash series like multiple times at this point, all of the books. It's one of the series that really got me back into reading. So I think I have to go with Castile, only because I haven't reread the Throne of Glass series yet, so I don't have as much of an attachment to Rowan, but he's still like one of the absolute best. So that was very difficult. I love both of them a lot. All right, let's see who we get. Rhysand. So if you're unfamiliar with Rhysand, I'm sorry, you need to be familiar with Rhysand. So Rhysand is one of the main characters in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. I'm gonna leave it at that because there are spoilers, but Rhysand is like top tier book boyfriend. This is gonna be hard, whoever's up against Rhysand. There's only like 2 people on here that I would ever consider, and Dorian was one of them. No. I mean, ooh, I'm gonna pick Rhysand, because I love Rhysand, but I do love Dorian a lot. Like, he is like really close Second, like him and another character in the Throne of Glass's like relationship, I ship them so hard. So, wow. Yeah, I'm picking Rhysand, but also I love Dorian so much. That's really unfair. Can we just, we're gonna skip that one. We're gonna pretend that one didn't happen. All right, let's see who's next. We have North. So I did cheat and I snuck in 2 characters from The Bonds That Tie, which is technically not fantasy romance. It's why I choose paranormal romance, but I feel like it's a pretty popular series and I absolutely love North and Nox from that series. So their names are both on this list. So we have North, who is like the oldest of Oleander's bonds from The Bonds That Tie, and he is one of my absolute favorites. So North versus, there's some really good ones left on here. No! Oh no! I feel like this is rigged. Okay. So it's North versus Lorcan. So okay, if you're unfamiliar with who Lorcan is also from Throne of Glass. He's more of a side character, but he's my absolute favorite. Like him and the person that he ends up with, I shipped them so hard, and they're one of my favorite romances in the Throne of Glass series. I really love Lorcan. I just love his attitude. He's very like cool boy, like doesn't care about anybody except for the girl that he's like madly in love with. So I love Lorcan. I don't know. I think I love Lorcan more than North, which is really sad, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Lorcan and not North. I love North, but it's just, I have more of an attachment with Lorcan. So that's another really hard one. And I put people on this list that I don't actually like. Okay, so Creon. We haven't come to the series yet. Creon is from A Court of Blood and Bindings. He is the henchman for the mother, who is the queen of the Fae, and she's horrible. And then Creon is her henchman, and he is known as the Silent Death because he like kills people and you don't even hear their screams. But I love Creon so much. So Creon versus, oh gosh, let's see, versus Darius. There's a lot of you that are gonna hate me for this. Tori from Novel Life, I'm gonna tag you in this because I would love to know who you pick because I feel like I know who you'd pick. I'm not gonna pick that person. I think I have to go with Creon more than Darius. Okay, so if we're gonna, Darius is from the Zodiac Academy, and there's like 2 main guys you kind of ship if you like the Zodiac Academy. You have Orion and you have Darius. I am very much Team Orion. Like, I love Orion, student-teacher relationship, and he's a vampire. I love him. Darius is also really cool. He's a motorcycle riding dragon shifter. But I love Orion so much that Darius is like very second. So I actually think I'm gonna have to go with Creon because Creon is he's like the perfect love interest. He's also a shadow daddy. And he is I love him. I love his story. I love everything about him. He's also very emotional, especially in the second book. Like, he is the emo love interest of my dreams. So I'm gonna say Creon, not Darius. I'm sorry. But that was also hard. Okay, let's see. Orion. So Orion is the other person I mentioned from the Zodiac Academy. And he's my absolute favorite. So Orion versus, let's see. Orion versus Rune. I quit this game. I don't want to do this anymore. No! I don't want to pick between them. No! So if you don't know who Rune is, Rune Dannon, Crown Prince of the Valbaran Fae. It's a TikTok sound. I love Rune so much. If you don't know what he looks like, he's this guy that is like covered in tattoos, has long hair, half of his head is shaved, he wears a lot of leather, and I love Rune so much. So I also love Orion though. I don't know if I could pick between them. I don't think I can. Like, I don't know. This one's really tough. Okay, you know what? I'm actually going to say Rune, and I'm probably gonna regret this as I'm editing this video, but the reason I'm gonna pick Rune over Orion is because of the Zodiac Academy, and I've said this in other videos, it needs to end. Like, we're really stretching the story at this point, And because we're stretching the story, it feels like Orion, along with other characters, are just making some very interesting choices that I typically wouldn't say go with their character. Very frustrating choices. Specifically Orion. Like, Orion has done some things that I don't think I could ever see him doing when I was first reading the books. So I think I'm gonna pick Rune for this one. Yeah, Rune, but like by like the smallest of smallest margins. That hurt. That one really hurt. All right, next up we have Kaz Brecker from Six of Crows. I had to add him into this list, even though it's technically Six of Crows is a duology. It's not really fantasy romance. There's a little bit of a romance, but it's my absolute favorite YA duology. And I have the biggest crush on Kaz Brecker, especially the guy that plays him in the show. I just love the way he comes off like so cold, except for with Inej, and I love Kaz Brecker. So let's see who we get. So Kaz versus Kieran. Kaz. I pick Kaz. That's an easy one. I like Kieran. If it's between those two, it's no question. Like, we're going Kaz Brecker all the way. Dirty hands. He wins. That was one of the easier rounds. All right, next up we have Cassian. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with my like ACOTAR opinions, Cassian's my least favorite Bat Boy, but I still absolutely adore him, and I love all the Bat Boys. So Cassian versus Aaron Warner. Wow, they could not be more opposite. So Aaron Warner is the love interest in the Shatter Me series, and he is like super possessive. He really has like, not a personality shift, but he really changes a lot throughout the series. But there's a quote, which is literally the only reason I even read the Shatter Me series, where he says, "Lift up your hips, love." And I melted. So between Aaron and Cassian, this is gonna make a lot of you very upset. I'm very, very sorry. Once again, I absolutely love Cass. Reading is subjective, and book boyfriends are subjective. I think I'm gonna have to go with Aaron Warner over Cass, just because I like someone slightly more unhinged, and I feel like Aaron Warner is as unhinged as they come in terms of like YA dystopian, and Cassian is he's just a fun, great guy, and I like a little bit more complexity, and I feel like Aaron Warner is very, very complex. So I pick Aaron. I'm sorry. All right, next up we have Nox. Nox is one of my favorites in the Bonsai series. He's also like super emotional. He has a lot of things that he has to go through, and he really changes throughout the series. So Nox versus, oh no. Nox versus Nyktos. No, that's really hard. I think I have to, okay, so Nyktos is from the From Blood and Ash prequel series, and I love him. He's slightly more naive. I think I have to go with Nyktos. So Nox is, like I said, he's very emotional. He goes through a lot. He really changes as the series progresses, but he is pretty horrible to Oleander, the main character, in the first few books. You eventually find out why he is that way, but I don't think it excuses some of his behavior. And then you have Nyktos, who's just like, I love him. I love Nyktos, Daddy Nyktos. So I think Nyktos is gonna have to win that one. That was another really close one. I don't know why I spin the wheel. So next up is Jack versus Kaol. So Jack is from Once Upon a Broken Heart, and I think he's also in the Caraval series. And then we have Kaol, who I just put in here because I wanted an easy round. I hate Kaol. I don't even know how to say his name correctly. I heard it's like Kale, but like with an OL, whatever. I'm not a huge fan of Kaol. Tower of Dawn, which is one of the last books in the Throne of Glass series, was by far my least favorite book. And while I was reading Throne of Glass at first, I was really hoping that Kaol was not going to be the main love interest, just because he kind of got on my nerves. He was like a little bit too of like a good boy. So yeah, I've never been a fan. So Jax all day. I love Jax. He is my absolute favorite YA fantasy romance book boyfriend. He's awesome. He's a little bit out there, and he definitely has issues he has to work through, but I love him as a character. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I just thought this would be a really fun video, and Lizelle, thank you so much for tagging me in your video. I know this wasn't exactly the same relationships that you had to choose from, but I figured I would just kind of expand and make it more fantasy romance. But thank you so much for the idea, and thank you guys so much for watching. So I said this already, I post new videos every Wednesday and Sunday, and if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. I will see you all next week. Bye!